Sister Margaret, thank you. Long time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah. All right. I think there's no need for the federal government to contract the DCI group to control these Republican strategists, Peterson and McCabe. These are famous political strategists in the UK, in the US, and for so long a time they've been contracting for basically corporations. They contracted before now for just 2 countries. Look, what is happening in Nigeria demands action. As they say in common parlance, action speaks louder than words. So what we are calling the Nigerian government to do is to just take an action on what is happening in Nigeria. You are spending $9 million to consult a firm in America, in Washington, D.C., to lock down your image. There's no need for this. Because some of us who have called for this CPC designation are still in the U.S. We're still talking to the same persons these guys are talking to. So at the end of the day, this $9 million is just going to go down the drain because it's not going to achieve any purpose.
Well, I do not know how you come to that conclusion. I mean, I want to imagine that part of the advice that before a government takes an action, they would have, thought about what the loopholes were for us to have gotten where we got to. Because a lot of people were very worried by the intervention of the United States. Now, they didn't, there were, will I say, mixed reactions to that intervention, especially the tweet. Or will I say, the message on Truth Social released by President Donald Trump in terms of how they intend to come into Nigerians, guns a-blazing, to save Christians. Now, a number of people figured that if it was just about insecurity and to come against terrorists and to fight general insecurity because it also had a way of affecting U.S. interests, perhaps in Nigeria or around Nigeria, as the case might be, a number of people might have said, well, the United States is welcome. But what they were afraid of is the manner in which this happened. The fact that the U.S. said they were standing up for Christians in Nigeria. And you saw, I do not know how well you followed the dispute that followed afterwards. But, Nigerians basically were walking on eggshells after that particular declaration, given just how sensitive religion is as an issue in Nigeria, and the fact that both sides, Christians and Muslims, had suffered casualties as a result of the work of terrorists in our country. So for you, when you look at that narrative and how it had the potential to affect us internally, I mean, even, conflagrate what was potentially a combustible issue, do you think that we should just sit down, or do you think a government should fold its hands and not try and get his own side of the story heard as well?
Okay, thank you very much. Mark, the side of the story in this context is just the truth. We are Nigerians. Section 14, sub A, paragraph 2, sub 2, paragraph A of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 says, sovereignty belongs to the people. We are the sovereign, not the government. We are the sovereign. And it is we the people, I want to correct that narrative. It is we the people, the victims, who have called on the United States to act, because the United States has the responsibility to protect, responsibility to protect as a cardinal principle, when it comes to situations like this. Now, let me take you on a timeline of these activities. Before now, we the people, we have called this genocide several times. Genocide has been happening against us, against Christians, by groups that are not related to us, coming to Christian communities, trying to obliterate Christian communities, displacing our people into the IDP camps, and taking over their land. Except anybody wants to, deny this obvious fact, that genocide has been happening not just now, for so long a time. In Nigeria, when in 2001 or so, Nigeria was to host Miss World, these guys went on rampage in Kaduna, burnt churches, that is genocide. You are killing these guys because they are Christians. You are burning churches because it is a Christian place of worship. Just because of Miss World. Nobody says anything about it because it is we Nigerians that were complaining. There was a time that there was this Danish cartoon, the so-called Danish cartoon is about Prophet Muhammad in Denmark. Nigerians paid the price. For what? Because they are Christians. That is genocide. It fits the intent and purposes of what genocide is all about. The spirit and letters of Article 2 of the Genocide Convention of 1946. It fits into it completely. But we are denying this.
Mr. Oto, I do not wish to minimize. I do not wish to minimize, the sufferings of communities across, the place where you come from. I know that we spoke with you shortly after the massacre in Yelwata, where you hail from. But you also, as some people will say, that you also cannot minimize the sufferings of other communities, other groups. For instance, what happened in Borno State, which is still reeling from the massacres that have happened as a result of Boko Haram insurgency. How do we describe that? We know that these issues are a little more complicated than a dry-cut description that were given to them, and that, our country is such that, as you rightly said, something that happens in another place can have an effect. So when a president says, I'm intervening on behalf of one group of people to the detriment of another, or seemingly to the detriment of another group of people, shouldn't there be concerns, especially by those who are supposed to be leading all of this group of people?
Okay, let's break down this for easy understanding. Now, we admit the fact that there are Boko Haram in our country. It's so unfortunate that our country is the number 5th country in the whole world, placed on number 5 as a country that has hosted the highest number of Islamist terrorist organizations. So unfortunately, we are only we are number 5. We've only been surpassed by Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, and Somalia. So we are number 5. We have ISWAP, we have Boko Haram, we have Lakurawa, we have Ansaru, and we have the most vicious terrorist organization in Nigeria that is in the Middle Belt, the Fulani ethnic militia. Now, if these Islamists kill fellow Muslims, that's terrorism. But if they kill Christians, they are killing Christians because of their faith. That is genocide. So let's break it. It's so unfortunate that they are killing everybody. So wherever genocide takes place, the people of that faith or that tribe were also affected. Like in Rwanda, when the Hutus were killing Tutsis, they were also killing moderate Hutus. So there's no difference. In Bosnia, when the Serbs were killing Bosnia under Milosevic, the Slobodan Milosevic, this guy that was jailed for life by the International Criminal Court, they were also killing some Serbians. So there's no difference about this. So when it's unfortunate that they kill Muslims, and when they do, that is terrorism. But when they kill Christians, they kill them because of their faith. And that is genocide. So let's not take away this fact. We've been seeing how they've been trying to spin the narrative to say, oh, everybody's been involved. We are not responsible for the creed these guys were given, the beliefs they were inculcated with. We're not responsible for that. These guys, they were growing up in the street. They were given a creed that is based on hatred, on violence, and asked that they should go after their enemies. And today, these guys have grown into monsters. They are coming into communities. When they came into my community, they've been killing us in my community almost every month. But June 13th and 14th last year, was on a large scale, on a different scale. And that is why many of us are standing up and not relenting. Because it's too much. I've lost more than 70% of the people I knew while growing up. Just because of these guys. We didn't do anything. We are in our land. These guys will come in the depth of the night and kill a 1-day-old baby, a 90-year-old father. For what? That is what we're saying. And the Nigerian government will be calling on them several times to act. Look, Maupe, we've been using the word genocide for so long, but the Nigerian government has not been acting. Even in January of 2018, if you remember the mass murder that happened in Guma local government under when Otom was governor, there was a mass burial of about 78 people that were killed in my local government of Guma. We called it genocide at that time. On the official program, it was written genocide. If you go to where they were buried today on in Makurdi, Welfare Quarters Road, Welfare Quarters Mobile Police Road, the signboard is there. Burial of the victim of Fulani genocide. So Nigerian government has not been acting. We're calling it exactly what it is. So since they've not acted, we called on a senior brother. Look, we've not been protected by these people, by our own government. And let me finally, before I conclude this this chapter, let me tell you, unfortunately, the people killed in Yerwata, 90% of them voted for APC. They voted for the government to defend them on their own part. They fulfilled their social contract responsibility by coming to exhibit their civil duty and voted for this particular government. My cousin,
all right, Frank
Nsuteze, was the agent of APC in the last election.
All right, we need to wind down. So could you tell us, you've also had that narrative that it's there, which was attributed to Biafra separatists who are, quote unquote, the ones championing this cause, and so government needed to also get the right narratives out there so people don't get the wrong impression about what's going on.
Somebody, you see, that is the power of propaganda. You're in the media, so you know what propaganda is. That is the power of propaganda. The designation of Nigeria as a CPC had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Biafra. Absolutely nothing. We, the victims, we're the ones in the forefront, the main victims of the genocide in Nigeria. Before now, you knew when my Lord Bishop Anabi of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi came to the U.S., addressed the U.S. Congress in March of last year. That was even long before Yerwata happened. In March last year, and asked for the designation of Nigeria as a species. When Yerwata happened, I was invited to Washington, D.C. I spoke at the iconic National Press Club, located just 2 blocks away from the White House. I addressed American Congress and American press, and I called for the designation of Nigeria as a CPC because I'm a victim. My community is placed on the edge of a precipice, is at the point of being obliterated completely. So we called for this protection. After July, I've addressed the American Congress twice again in December last year and in January this year. Last week, I was in Washington. Last week, Wednesday, I addressed the American Congress. After that, I met people, congressmen who were invited to Nigeria recently, like Congressman Bill Heisinger from Michigan. He was invited to Nigeria. I think he was hosted by Tony Elumelu in December, and was hosted by the government. We tried to disabuse his mind. Look, these guys are just trying to hide the narrative.
All right, Frank.
The truth of what is happening. So it is we, the victims, and not Biafra. So anytime they call Biafra, and let me tell you something. Just a moment.
Unfortunately, we're completely out of time, but it's something that, of course, it doesn't just end here. It's an ongoing concern, and we'll also find time to revisit the matter, as it were. So we do thank you for talking to us this morning, Frank Oto, a lawyer and a native of Yerwata. Thank you for your time. And is it good night or good morning now, because you need to get back to sleep?
Good morning. I'm going back to sleep.
Let me use this medium to apologize to my fellow Biafrans, the ones who believe in me and the ones who trust in me for their daily news. Please, the headline of this message might sound somehow propaganda, but I mean a propagandios, but I want you to watch the video from beginning to the end. If you get to this point, I am sorry if the headline makes you to feel bad, but the message you watched, I am very sure you understand it very clearly. The reason why I make the headline propagandios is because I want to get your attention to watch the video from beginning to the end to learn a lot. Why do I do so? Because it is on the internet. Just like as I said in one of my videos, or rather one of the videos I published some couple of months ago or years ago, I made it clear to all of us here that the lies of 1966 that brought in 1967 massacre of Biafrans to 1970 is here again. What is that lie? Almost all the whole internet now. Sheikh Husani, newly appointed, what do they call them, consular in one of the zoos embassies nationwide, or rather worldwide. You don't come out now and say the people wey make Trump come strike for North. Say na Chinedu where they sell salesman self, no be saying be both self. Salesman where they sell motor spare parts for Anambra State. Screwdriver for that matter, say the only thing that guy they sell. So say na him bring the strike on northerners. What are they trying to do here now? They want to cause ethnic division, not because of 2027. No, they want a repetition of what happened in 1966 to 1970. That's exactly what is happening now, and that was why I need to call your mind back, because some people might see this video, or rather, some people have seen this video on channels, televisions, or from bloggers or whatever, of this Frank Uto, native of Yelwata in Benue State, explaining how Emeka from Onitsha orchestrated the whole Christian genocide campaign against Nigeria. Please do me a favor and listen to the end. This one is just a little article they put up before the video. And you have watched the video, this one, so I don't need to tell you to watch and listen to the end before you get to this point. So you have already watched the video, and you can as well agree with me that that is the same lie of 1966 to 1970 is what is back again. Now the northerners now go to internet now. There's one idiot they call Isa Ahmed or whatever they call him, Arewa Youth Consultative Forum leader. Don't come out now say we say we dey kill people, we dey kill northerners. Say now they do this, all this nonsense. Imagine somebody, a consular who is going to represent the zoo outside the shores of Africa, is making that kind of comment. Daniel Bouala, a spokesperson for Tunumbu, don't make that comment. Go to Arise TV, that is what is trending. Go to Channel Television, that is what is trending. Go to TVC, that is what is trending. To Capitolo, my brother, New York Times have partaken. In fact, they have gotten the share of the $9 million Tunumbu used to bribe them to pass a narrative. In fact, instead of them now to say, okay, there is no Christian genocide, now they're trying to indict one section of the country. The section that's always bear the brunt each time there's any fracas in that zoo called Nigeria, which is the Igbos, the Biafrans. So you can as well agree with me that these people now don't come with their lies now. With a foreign people, I mean foreign newspapers, helping them to circulate the rumor and propaganda and also the lies against one ethnic group, which is the Igbos. Tell me what is happening in Yelwata, Benue State, and what have happened in southern Kaduna, most dominated Christian area in the north, and also in Plateau State, most especially Becus, Mangus, and the rest of other areas where a good number of people have been murdered. The burial, I mean the mass burial is all over internet, and people are seeing. The most painful part of all these things is that these people that are saying all these things, forgetting that even before Nigeria becomes a country, US have already have a satellite watching all over the countries. They have already have that satellite on the space that covers everything. Even the security situation in Aso Rock, US will first give you information before you that is living in Nigeria. But these same people will know about all these things still yet because of their own selfish interest, because of what they are about to gain. Then they will turn the matter upside down just to make sure that one section of the country are being masterminded, or rather are being pointed out for destruction. It is the same thing as like giving a dog a bad name just to make sure that you hang that dog. Whereas when you know that the dog has not committed any offense for you to do such to him or her. So you can as well agree with me that this video now is an eye-opener, because I have been following this Frank Uto right from the day one. One of the bishops from Makurdi went to US, to also air his own view. But at the end of the day, you see, they will always twist all these narratives, find a way to make sure that everything falls on the head of the Igbos. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, I think around either July or August or September, when Fulanis organized a coup to overthrow the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Fulanis, about 16 or 32 of them, there's no any single somebody, even from the south, let me put it that way, or from the old eastern region, that is either from the Igbo speaking side, or from Efik, Ibibio, or from Ikwere or Ijo speaking side. None of them, all of them are Fulanis. But the most painful part of it, they still have to twist this thing that said that Igbos are the one who engineered them, but they don't want their name to be mentioned. You can imagine this rubbish. A robbery incident will happen in Kwara State, which is a Fulani-dominated area in Yoruba land. Instead of them to call the Fulanis out, maybe they are scared of the Fulanis. The end of it all will be Igbos are the one who disguise themselves as Fulanis to come and perpetrate that act. Are you kidding me? Are you for real? And people are buying this propaganda. Gosh. Anyway, my people, let me not talk, waste much of your time. You have already seen the video. And you can, as well, as I said earlier, agree with me that the lies of 1966 to 1970 is what is playing out now. And if care is not taken, what happened then will also repeat itself now. That is exactly how all this whole thing will end. Okay, let me just digest the comment section. Now from there, now you go know say, even these people, even as this guy now is speaking now, they will find a way to tell you now that this Frank Otona is an Igbo guy. Watch at the comment section. Victor Abisoye, from where? The Yoruba bastard and the baboons. When look at what the guy talk, he said, laugh out loud. So you should be left to be saying nonsense. Why no one is there to talk back? Biafrland moron. Biafrland moron. This guy, how Frank can I take the Biafran? Whenever they want to pass out a very bad information, the person who is not a Biafran or even an Igbo will be called a Biafran. Are you hearing me now? Will be called a Biafran. Okay. One may say that, sir, even from you, this is nasty work. Are we trying to build a country with respect of our differences or divided by calling names? All these video calls for is empty from the government. I don't even understand, but let me see what the idiot replied. Victor said, really? How your people behave becomes unhinged. Nobody wants to build a country with them. Who tell you they want to build a country with you? He posted so many videos here. The video says, Mr. Umar Wallace said, reporting was contributed by Saliko Jama, Diano Sachi, Ismail Awal, and David Chidi Eleke. Now that David Chidi Eleke, now that is where he go to paint. He didn't talk about Saliku Jama, Dione Secretary, Ismail Awal. It's only one Igbo man that is in that. That is where he pinpointed. You can as well. You see what I'm trying to do. You see what I'm telling you. Okay, somebody replied to him and said, I thought the Nigerian government whom you support has come out to debunk this article and take ownership of the narrative that they supported the US with a strike. What is then the purpose of dissecting this article to pit tribes against one another, sir? Okay, the same idiot replied, said, not true. The guy on TV is claiming it. What else do you expect Nigerian government to say? So Nigerian government now will now bow to pressure to agree to a common Igbo man, a salesman in a screwdriver shop, that he is the one who brought Trump to Nigeria. Even Nigerian government will not have a kind of intelligence US government have. Now, wow. These people say, oh God, I'm tired for them. Anyway, my people, if you have anything to say over this matter, please drop it at the comment section of this video. I want to hear your own view. What do you think? And how are we going to mitigate from this Maya we find ourselves? Or rather, from this mistake where that is called a country where we find ourselves. Anyway, the deeds have been done. We are just trying to find a way to make sure that Biafrans have their country and have it in full totality. So have a nice day, and good luck and God to bless you. Please share this message. Okay, Messiah.